of victory or defeat. It's up to me to decide, but how can I expect to win if I never try? I just can't give up now. I come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe He's brought me this far to leave me.
You're waiting for the beer right here.
If we're protesting anything, we're protesting division. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Wave to the camera.
Two things I want us to know. We're the young people now. All you young people say, hey. Hey. Come on. All you young people say, hey. Hey. I want y'all to understand something. Anybody can protest. Y'all hear me? Listen to me now. Anybody can protest. If you got a group of black folks out there by themselves, they protest. If you got a group of white folks out there by themselves, they protest. But in order for it to be a movement is when you got white and black together. That's right. That's right. When you got other groups that's not directly impacted in there with those that are directly impacted, that's when you got a movement. That's right. So what y'all seen this morning in Dothan, Alabama was not a protest. That's right. What y'all seen was a unified movement. Because everybody is affected now. Governor Wynn, where he lived out on the hill, where them white people live out, where other folks live out on the hill, that's not directly impacted what happened in the bottom, said, wait a minute, we are impacted by what's going on. Yes, thank you. Because those are our people too, so it's about humanity. Somebody say humanity. Humanity. So I'm going to say this and I'm going. When Harriet Tubman did the Underground Railroad, do anybody know who the Underground Railroad was? Who was it? People. White people. That's right. Yes. Black folks was in slavery, so they couldn't help us. I mean, come on now. So that had to be white folks was helping them folks. Right. That's right. Black folks ain't had no boat. Hello, somebody. All right. When we got freed as slaves, when they said the Emancipation Proclamation, freed all the slaves, keep great, what happened? There was a school in Beaufort, South Carolina called Penn School to teach them how to what? Read, write, take care of themselves. Because Darryl will tell you, Darryl, the expert at this part, most of the black folks that got freed out of slavery, they ran back to their masters because they didn't know what to do. That's right. White folks started teaching them how to what? Take care of themselves. Right. Civil rights movement, who is Dr. King. See, they don't talk about this part. See, we're Jennifer at. I need Jennifer to explain it. With Dr. King here, they had to hide them, they had to do that. So what we have now is a movement. So we ain't even gonna talk about race no more. When Ricky Stokes say that stuff about me and race, tell him, look here, we far beyond that. That's right. We in a movement now to where we want to get some things right. We want public safety. We want equality. We want fairness. Yeah. But let's not get it wrong now. Equality ain't justice. Okay. Because just because you got the same as I got, that don't mean you got the same justice I got. That's right. That's what Doug Wynn was trying to express. There's a big difference in equality and justice. That's right. And a lot of us are fighting for equality, but that don't mean justice, TD. Right. Justice is a whole nother venue. And then the next thing I want you to understand is that when you have this movement in place, don't let no negative person pull you back out. That's right. Don't let nobody confuse you and say, oh, this one wrong, that one wrong. It ain't about race no more. You got black people out here beating up black people. That's right. Shooting black people. That's right. So it ain't about, it's about right and wrong. And from this day forward, let's make sure
First of all, I want to compliment everybody here for letting go of your fear and being here today. That's the first step to unity, is to let go of your fear. There are people here today that came because of loss, because of anger, I'm sure. I'm sure your heart is filled with anger. I understand it. But we've got to come together. We've got to make it better.
Amen.
We don't want things to be repeated over and over and over again. And it's not just in Dothan. We see it on TV. We see it in New York. We see it in Missouri. We see it in Kansas. We see it in California. We have seen it the last couple of months in China. It's all over the world. Right now, there is a voice rising, not just in Dothan, not just in Alabama, not just in the United States, but in this entire world. The good Lord is speaking to people through our hearts.
Amen. Good.
And as long as we follow our hearts and we let go of the fear, talk to people. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to share with people how you feel. As was said just a minute ago, do it with a sense of respect for the person you're talking to, yes, but don't hide your feelings. You know, everybody in here has got people in your family that you really, really love. And you've got people in your family that you love that are not really the nicest people to be around, even though you're in your family, right? People you work with. There's good people at work. There's some people at work that aren't so good. It's that way in every group of people. Understand that. Don't just tolerate it. Accept it. They're different. The only way they're going to change is if people that they observe are not filled with fear. They're filled with love instead of fear. They want the best for everybody. That's what we, as individuals coming together, are showing to our community. That's what we want to have happen. That's what we want to do. And as hard as it is for many of us in here, the gentlemen in the marked cars with the lights that were out there making it smooth for us today, making it safe for us today. We owe them our thanks for that. We owe them our respect for that. So when you see somebody in law enforcement, just thank them. Just walk up to them and say, hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. They're as scared as you all are. I promise you. I've talked to several of them. They're as scared as any individual in here is. That is what's driving us apart, is the fear. When the socioeconomic injustice that was mentioned earlier, that is a lot of the cause of what the division is within our community, within our state, within our world. People use hatreds and fear to keep people divided so that they can take advantage of it for themselves. When we do come together in unity, when we do unify as true communities, then the opportunity will come because we have allowed it to come. And when the opportunity comes, then the unity will grow. We've taken the first step today. Last thing I want to say, once again, thank you all very much for letting go of your fear and being here.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
How many people are ready for solutions? How many people are ready to do something? Today was the first step. We gave of ourselves physically. Now it's time to give of ourselves emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
All right.
We should always be promoting justice, freedom, equality, and especially equity. We deserve to be here. We deserve justice. We deserve freedom. We deserve what everybody else is getting. When we're separate, we do not get what we're supposed to, because everybody's fighting a different fight. Everybody's fighting for themselves individually. Everybody's fighting for that little piece just to keep their head above water, right? So now it's time for us to get connected, to unify. Because when we unify, our power increases, our strength increases. Realistically, we all want the same thing. We all want to live a good life. Whether it's economically, spiritually, we all want a good life. So why are we so divided when it comes to getting the things that we all need? I mean, when you look at history, that's the way that people have always been taken advantage of. They've been kept divided. They've been focused on issues that aren't the primary issues. We have to look at what are the underlying issues that we all face. One, economic injustice. Two, racial injustice. You have social injustice. So, if we really break it down to the very last compound, we are people. We are human beings. So, we all want to be loved. We all want success. We all want to rise. We all want to get better. So if we put our minds and put our hearts together and just do a little bit for each other, things will get better. And I will say this, don't be deterred. Don't let anybody turn you around or make you think that your good works don't work. You know, somebody mentioned fear. Fear is a big animal if you let it control you. Right? But if you recognize what fear does and you work in spite of your fear, you'll get a lot more done. And we can get a lot more done. Right? So I just want to say thank you. It's good to see so many people who are ready to do something. And at this stage, I would suggest that each of us see what we can do next. I mean, we're here at TOPS. I always like to go to the next phase. Because when you have people together, then it creates an opportunity to say, what can we do next? Huh? I mean, we march, right? So what is the next thing that we can accomplish that will show that we're working towards progress? Don't just get here and let's be here just to have what they say, a party, or just to have our bodies here. Let's use what God has given us, this opportunity, to take it to the next stage.
Fear, F-E-A-R, what is that? That's a false expectation appearing real. If you think about it, all of us has undergone some type of fear one way or the other, but you know what? We've overcome it. Another thing I was talking to Mr. Davis about was that if we did not seize the moment in Dothan, Alabama, to stand up and come together collaboratively and united, I'm moving out of Dothan, Alabama. Why should I leave my hometown because of issues going on around the community? Chris Thomas, I was one of the first ones there on the scene and called for an outside investigator to come in and investigate the department. So as things begin to happen and progress, things begin to unfold. We begin to find out more about these things that we didn't have the information from. So we learned that once we come together as a people, I was hoping that there were more than one or two people marching today. Now, I stand as an advocate of the city of Dothan. I stand still as an advocate of the city of Dothan. But I stand as an advocate of justice and what is right, what's fair, and what's not fair. I'm not here to talk about my specific case. However, the thing about what I did was I made sure that I held officers accountable. I was in that position to do that. There were several terminated when I was in the Internal Affairs Division for things that they did that were not right. However, some of the upper hierarchy within the city kind of dictates who receives more punishment, whereas if somebody else does the same thing that they're close to, they are supposed to receive none. I didn't stand for it. I wrote the policies down there. And I wrote them so that everybody would be fair and equal across the board. But what do? You get rid of the person that will stand up and stand out. Like every one of you are standing up and standing out today. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to leave race out of it, but I'm going to bring it back into it at the end. When I first started there was a friend, or there was a guy that I knew that was applying for the police department. He had been overlooked and overlooked and overlooked. So I went and I spoke up. I said, hey, what's going on with Mike? You mean that big fat tub of lard? He can't even pass the physical agility test. And I'm quoting what I was told. And I said, why don't you let him fail himself? Give him the opportunity.
There you go.
Guess what? Because I said that, they did, and he was one of the best employees that there was. Mike was a white male. The person that called him a big fat tub of lard was a white male. So it isn't about what I see you as in your color, your gender. It's for what is right, and there are people being left behind every day based on maybe your skin color, maybe based off of who you know, or something that they don't particularly like about you, about where you worship, or your strong views where you stand up and you speak out against the system. Because guess what? At some point in time, no matter who you are or what you're doing, if there's something that they don't like about you, you can be part of that same issue. So I'm happier than you know to see the many that we have here marching for one cause, and that's justice here. Because believe it or not, there are people that are looking at Dothan that moves away from Dothan, or people that was raised in Dothan that moves away because they're not going to be treated the same. They're not going to have the same opportunities. You know, all of our grandchildren, all of our relatives and everything coming behind us, they're going to be proud of us because they're going to hear that there was a movement, hello, Pastor, there was a movement in Dothan for the very first time, and this movement is to help these young children come up with more of an opportunity, no matter who you're playing with, no matter who they go to church with, no matter who you stand next to. Just because I stand next to this gentleman right here, he or I shouldn't be persecuted because we're standing next to each other. And I guarantee you and I promise you, the Lord has been behind me so much in this fight. This fight, little did I know, wasn't mine.
That's right.
The Lord has been putting his arm on me for years. I should not be anywhere else but in Dothan, Alabama. I've tried to move out of Dothan 15, 20 years ago. I have a master's degree. I've taught at Troy University. I mean, I've got federal credentials. No one answers my resume. My friends could tell me, hey, come up to Atlanta, your portfolio, nothing. The Lord meant for me to be right here. He meant for me to stay right here. And He meant for me to stand for what I believe is right. And ladies and gentlemen, nobody else in Dothan does this. I actually told them that I'm not retiring. They had city officials come to my house tell me I need to retire. I said, no, you're going to have to fire me. I knew that I could get my case in the federal court, and it would be better. And most people in this community don't know is I'm doing this for them. I could have taken my full retirement, but guess what? I know everything about that police department. I know that Dothan Police Department was found guilty in federal court in 1976 of racial discrimination. There is a federal court order from 1976 saying treat everybody the same and train them the same, allow them the same opportunities, And my federal lawsuit that's in place right now is calling the city back in for contempt of that federal court order. I was pulled over yesterday by one of the people I hired as soon as I pulled out of my driveway at home. It was no surprise. So the thing is, I'm staying steadfast. I've been nonviolent all my life. I don't know who they think I'm going to be since I am exposing all of the things within the city that needs to be exposed, you know. But I'm doing it so all of us can have a better way of life. I'm not going to take a gag order or a payoff. This has to be heard. What we did today has to be heard. It has to be said. And we need to all stand together and stand.
All we have to do is stand up. God says, fear not, for I'm with you. He said, lo, I will be with you to the end of the earth. Once I do the earth end, okay, and when I do, I'm going to be with God. God will be with me to the end of the earth, and when the earth ends, I'm going to be with God. So why do we fear? Don't fear anything. Do what God says do. We have a lot of things we need to address. The Saints apartment, that was a hate crime. They burned that building to block me. They used African American men, removing asbestos people that weren't trained. They contaminated your community. There is no safe level for asbestos. That's right. I've been out fighting for this community and for everybody to have an opportunity. I don't believe in a black opportunity or white opportunity. I believe that that was a critical spot because it wasn't too far into the African American community that the white people or any other race wouldn't have felt uncomfortable coming there. That there was critical spots in this community that make a difference. They burned it down. You might have seen me at the front page of the paper, I think it was what, Wednesday, Thursday? Because Bob Woodall, they'll tell you they brought $1.5 million to the table. They didn't. The DDRA closed meetings, gave them what I thought was a city block for $1, but one of my comrades was reading to me and said, Ruth, it says parcels 6 through 10 comprise the city block. That's 4 parcels. Well, they gave them 12 parcels for $1, okay? The terms are you're going to rent it for $1 a year, and by December the 31st, you'll need to pay them $1 for the whole building. But they went right ahead and collateralized it so they could go to 5-star credit union and get a loan. If somebody gives me and you a city block, I can bring 10 investors in here in 10 minutes who will give you $1 million or $2 million on it, okay? They didn't bring anything to the table. But when I tried to buy the building, they went behind my back, did what they wanted to do illegally. It's 2 different lawyers you're paying right now for the illegal activity on the Saints apartments. A fraudulent mortgage release and 11 EPA violations that are can cost up to over $400,000 a day for over a year. So what I want y'all to understand, there is deep-rooted corruption. Let's root out corruption. Let's create opportunity. The energy efficiency market is the biggest change since farm to industry, people. It was illegal for blacks to participate in the industry at that time. It's not illegal now. You know why people don't want you to reduce energy? Because they live off of your power bill. And I can tell you how to reduce that power bill. I can tell you how to put in solar panels. I'm a solar instructor training network trainer for the U.S. Department of Energy. When I train you, you can take a national exam that will qualify you to train to install these panels all over the world to work on these projects, okay? It's been demanded all over the world. So they already know. I've come in here and bought properties cash. Never could we get any funding for our local properties. I've had to have people pay cash. They'll tell you we didn't have funding. One of my funders is an absolute prince, okay? We've got NFL coach, we've got princes, we got retired EPA Superfund site manager who said we're gonna make sure this gets done. These are the kind of situations you're facing. It's not just you black and white. A lot of white people are being ousted from opportunity due to cronyism and corruption down here. If you all don't pull the corrupt people out of these positions, ain't nobody gonna have an opportunity. Do you understand me? So we can it's not race like it used to be, but we got the county government with Mark Culver signing off on a $5.1 million contract to improve the county energy efficiency on October 28th last year. The train didn't have the contract. He held it. And we've got Bob Woodall with a multi-million-dollar gift for $1. And I have to notice that there's supposedly a racial relations commission. And I walked in and see some of you there right with Bob Woodall. Bob Woodall that ate your lunch and now he's sitting up with racial relations. This is very important that y'all understand. If somebody just stole your field and they want to serve you a piece of corn, that's what we call, very affectionately, poverty pimping. Don't get poverty pimped. Don't get poverty pimped. Don't take $2,000 when they took $2 million and think they did something for you. Don't carry the bag of the person who's actually using you to get ahead and you turn around and think they're helping you. Because if you look across our community, I don't care who the elected official is at this point, black, white, or whatever, the African American community has not received one building for $1. Okay? Not one. Not one. Now they're approaching some of our younger African Americans, giving them incentives to work with them where they're not going to be able to understand what's really going on. Now, we've got the governor. Y'all need to understand now, the governor is a part of the Southern States Energy Board. That board is asking to continue to contaminate your environment and do coal production. But those coal plants are located in minority and poor white communities. They're causing cancer and everything else. We got to get it active on a level other than we black and white. It ain't about we black and white. Y'all know the position. We're going to have to root out. I got lovely white friends, I can call them now. They'll go jump on the news and fight like wildcats, okay? And I think it's beautiful because you got to root out who's right, who's wrong, who's racist, who's not, who's actually helping you. And then we also have black people who align themselves with running back to massa so that we can all stay where we are. We're going to have to learn that we going to have to stand up for what's right. And I don't care if they're white, black, or indifferent, we got to root out corruption and wrongdoing. That's our problem, okay? Not only that, you need to be aware of these cases that are coming up. We need people in the courtroom. Exactly. We need people in the courtroom for Chris Thomas. We need it for Keith Gray. Yeah. We need it for Mark Overall. Yeah. Y'all remember Mark Overall? Yeah. Mark Overall came down here the other day. I was in the court. Doug Valesa did the trial. Interesting. He was accused of resisting arrest. They said, what was he arrested for? Resisting arrest. Well, that got real interesting after a while when he explained that officers of the law don't get arrested for contempt of court, but they still found him guilty, charged him $50. Mark is appealing. There'll be a trial. Y'all need to be in the court. You need to hear where the problems really lie in the system. That's right. And you need to be at the county commission meeting. You need to be at the city commission meeting. We cannot sit back and say, oh, we don't know. Jansen Tidmore said she couldn't finance it. Oh, we had a letter of commitment on our presentation to the DDRA. They didn't intend to hear us, so we invited all of the media to record it so they could see how we were going to fund our training center and let it be a place where veterans and people come who can actually get training, have a place to stay while they get that training, go back to their homes in the woods or wherever they live, because most of our soldiers went off from rural areas anyway because they couldn't go to college. Now we don't have anything for veterans, felons, unemployed, or poor. That is what I want to do with the Saints Apartments, but that is against the rules apparently. That's right. So I need you all to stand up. When you hear the Saints Apartments, when you hear Mary Electric, there's a complaint. Bob Woodall gonna train downtown now while they gave him a building for $1 and burned the one down I was going after. I need y'all to stand up and say, no, we'll train ourselves. We're competent, we're capable. Let us do what is right. And that is our problem. If we get some economical footing, we can change the world. But if we just march and holler with nothing, that's what they want. God bless you and move something. Move your attitude.
When good people are afraid of the Lord, there's something wrong. When good people are afraid of their elected officials, there is something wrong. When innocent people are afraid to walk down the street, there is something wrong with our community. And it's up to us. And you got to take advantage of this today. Speak your mind. Speak what your heart is telling you. Don't hold back. This is an open forum.
Everybody can talk. Parents can talk. But when you exercise your power and change things, we don't want the DA in office, vote him out. We don't want the sheriff in office, vote him out. If they're not doing the justice, vote him out. They are elected officials that are there to serve the people. If they are not serving the people, see, what you got to understand, the government is a control. That's tyranny. That's right. But when the people are in control, That's freedom. And this is what this country is all about. Houston County is the last stronghold in the South. Amen. And I'm telling you, there are people that are old and in position and in power that's got money and don't want to turn it loose. That's right. But we have the upper hand. There's more of us than it is of them. Whether you know it or not, there's only 200 millionaires in Houston County. 200 millionaires in Houston County. There's more banks per square mile. You talk about facts. There's more banks per square mile in the city of Dothan, Alabama than any other city in the United States of America. There's a lot of money here. And the things that happen in this Houston County don't stop in Houston County. It goes all the way to Montgomery. Do y'all understand? So when we exercise our rights, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, register your children and your grandchildren. And it is so sad to say the problem that we're facing. My heart goes out to Sister Davis and her son with that condition. There are laws, and this is the United States of America, liberty and justice for all, then we need to exercise that. And we're all Americans in here. We exercise our rights to vote. You use your power to vote. You use your voice to let them know to say, look, you said, that's what you say, Sister Davis, you said that these laws ought not to be, this thing ought not to happen. But when you don't know the law and they use them in their favor, you need to turn around and use them against them. And you'll get justice. And again, I encourage you, one of the solutions to the problem that we're facing in Houston County, we don't vote. We talk a good game, we rally, we march. There were 65,000 registered candidates, facts, in Houston County. There were 23,000 people show up to vote. But we won't change. There ain't no change. We got to change them. Move people out of the way that don't have any heart and best interest. You want to see something done? Encourage your kids to vote. You want to see something done? Step up to the plate and exercise your rights as an American citizen, as a citizen, as a constituent of Houston County and these areas. You got a right to go to the chamber's meeting. You got a right to go to the commissioner's meeting and make your voice be heard. They work for you.
Yes. Show up.
Those people in position, you put them there, they work for you. And there's one thing I learned, I'm going to be out of your way. People go to the bank and they go borrow money. And they be intimidated by the bank because of all the beauty and the glamour and the marble floors and all that. You know, it's beautiful when you go to the bank. So you walk in that bank, man, you shake it before that president of that bank, and you got to realize something. He do not work for himself, he works for you. You ain't in that bank for making an issue of him. He's your boss. And that's what we think. But in reality, you his boss. So they dress up the bank, make it look good, because it's a bank. You don't want to go into a bank that's a shack. You say, I ain't borrowing money from that place. It may be millions of dollars in there, but you ain't going to go in there. It's just like the grocery store. You go to the grocery store to buy food. You go to the bank to get money. And you got to let the people know, listen, I don't work for you, you work for me. And that's what we got to let our officials know. They work for us. Police officers, they work for us. You know, the sheriff department office, they work for us. The commissioners and the people that are over the position of these cities, they're employed by us. And when we come together with people and vote, like in the history of the civil rights movement, when you vote, people, I promise you, things will change in Houston County. When you put those people out of position that think they own everything, and they start saying, this mine, you know, somebody gets something in their hand, they get possessive, take it out of their hand. And you have the power to do that. And I promise you, things will make a difference in this town. I ran for sheriff, and I saw what the power of vote can do. I saw people vote a man in a position that didn't even campaign. And you didn't even vote for him. And he became sheriff of Houston County, and you didn't have nothing to say about it. You know why? Because you didn't vote. And they knew you wasn't gonna vote. They told me you wasn't gonna vote. They told me how things was gonna turn out, and they spoke like they was a prophet. But the power of all these solutions that we're facing in this county, in this community, and throughout the United States is the power of vote. Ferguson, Missouri, 65% black people. 65% black people. 3% only show up to vote. And you wonder why those people was in a position of power, because people didn't vote. So people, I encourage you again, pray, keep God first, keep the faith. God has given us a power. He's put the solution and the answer already in our hands. You can't say you drowned when you sit in your boat. You can't say you didn't rescue you when you sit in a helicopter or a plane. You can't say that God didn't send you a weapon to fight with when He gave you the power to exercise your right to vote. Pray for me.
Amen. Very powerful and poignant. One thing I'd like to add to what Pastor was saying is we got to start getting some nerve. I'm glad I'm a pastor because I would have said something else. But we need to get some nerve. People need to be who they are. The reason why things ain't changing, it is what Pastor said. We're not voting the right people into office, but the right people ain't running for office. You know, some people are so stagnated with fear and self-doubt and just not confident in the community that they live in. But if you a leader, be a leader. If you're an advisor, be an advisor. If you're a counselor, be a counselor. If you're one who gets things done, get things done. It's up to you to do it. I'm taking my place. I'm not a politician. I'm not a sheriff. I'm not a police officer. I'm a pastor. I preach the gospel. But there are people who are sitting in our midst who are leaders, who are not stepping up and doing what they're supposed to do. And so we can't blame a man who has the courage to do something, but he's not qualified to do it, and he gets the office. You can't blame him. At least he had the courage to stand up and say who he is. Now, he might not be as smart as maybe you or I. We probably can do the job better, but you didn't go for it. So don't complain when you don't get what you want, when you don't go after what you want. Because you have what it takes. If you look around this community, just like Pastor said, the reason why the money is here, because you here.
That's right.
But if you don't become the people that God has called you to be, are people with pride and integrity, are people who stand up and people who treat each other with respect and honor, you will never see the day that we can stand up and walk down our streets and not turn our heads when a police car rolls by or complaining about who's in office and who got this and who got that. If you stand up for yourselves, then you're standing up for me as well.
As long as I stayed in Troy, I think I might have came to Dothan one time. Dothan was never on my mind. But when I got to Dothan, this is where the Lord placed us. He opened up doors for us here in Dothan. And I started reading the Bible, and I'm like, it's something about Dothan. And then in the scripture, it said, let's go to Dothan. But when you study that story, they were sent to Dothan for a reason. There's prosperity in Dothan. There's blessings in Dothan. There's something about Dothan in the Bible and biblically. And biblically, the Bible says that how good it is when brethren come together in unity.
Go ahead.
And one thing I learned about Dothan is it don't seem like brothers or sisters want to come together in unity.
That's right.
I see this person talking but doing this, and I see that person talking and doing that, but where's the unity? And I was like, Lord, because we're a community church. We're for the community. Because all my life in the city, I used to go to these stores, and they were owned by Indians and Chinese people, and they would make all the money. But it was like they weren't putting nothing back in the community. So all I wanted to do was come back to the community, start something. I teach about entrepreneurship. But if for 1 second, I just want y'all to do something for me. If all y'all would just close your eyes. Just close your eyes. And just listen to my voice. See, when you got your eyes closed, you see no color. You see no color. All you hear is a voice. You don't know if I'm white, black, Mexican, Puerto Rican. All you hear is a voice. All right? So you can't judge me now by my appearance because you can't see me. Amen? But what we got to understand, y'all can open your eyes back up. I try to teach this. We have to quit living life with our eyes because that's our problem. Our biggest issues is we live life through our eyes, what we see, what things appear. But we got to understand the trick of the enemy is that he is the great deceiver.
That's right.
He is the great deceiver. So that's his job, is to deceive us. And how can he deceive us? Through our eyes. If he can show us something that might appear to us a certain way, where we might believe it. He gets into our minds. He works on our mind. But we got to understand this. God has no respect of person.
That's right.
No respect of person. That means that he judges no one. And that's what we're supposed to be. Jesus told the disciples, he gave the disciples the 2 greatest commandments. And those commandments were to what? To love the Father and to love your neighbor as you love yourself.
All the other ones hang on me.
That's the only thing we got to live by. That's the only thing God requires of us. And that's love. John says, if you can't love your neighbor, you can't love God.
That's right.
You're a hypocrite.
That's right.
So all we got to do is practice love. Let's apply love to our lives. I love me. I love me. So I got to love you. I got to love you. It's required of me to love you. Not because of your color, your race. I could care less about that. But I'm required to love you. God has agape love, which means unconditional love. Has no boundaries. That's the same love we're supposed to have. I could care less how you treat me. I still got to love you. Because love conquers all.
Right.
I'm a living witness of it. I know what love does. Love is what love does. Just keep loving each other. Take a stand. Me and my wife, when we tell people all this, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So why not take a stand of love? Alright? Let's not make this the first time that we do this. I'm so sick and tired of us coming together doing things and then weeks after this, we don't think nothing else. Nothing else is said. The Million Man March was done. Huh? How many years ago now? It's been quite a few years now, hasn't it? We got 1 million men that come together for maybe 2 years straight, and then we stop. Huh? This man right here is here for, he's here for a reason.
Yes, Lord.
But it's going to take all of us to get behind this man. He can't do it by himself, and he understands now. This battle's not his, but the Lord's. So we got to stand behind this man no matter what color we are, no matter what race we come from. We need to unite. We need to take a stand today. I take a stand today that whatever you need, please let me know. If there's anything that I can do, please let me know. Because I take a stand today. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you ought to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, because if we don't take a stand today, it's going to fall on these young kids.
Victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. But how can I expect to win if I never try?
Tell them. We don't need a car in our neighborhood.
Don't need a car with period in my neighborhood. If you can't stand up for you can't stand up and let your son see what you made of. Let your son see what you made of. He gonna need it later on. They ain't gonna stop. They ain't gonna quit. Get your son and show your son this is what you're up against, baby. Teach him. Don't teach him to sell no dope. I did that.
I want him to do something different. See? But as sure as he get out here in the street and start doing it, they're gonna kill him. They waiting on him to grow up so they can kill him. Your son. You need to tell him. Put him up on this right here. Ain't nothing good about this. We ain't gonna never walk in. They ain't gonna never treat us equal. Ever. You feel me? They ain't gonna ever, you can kiss them all you want. They ain't gonna never see you equal. Ever. They ain't gonna never see you make much money they make. Ever. If you do, they gonna stop you. And they get around here and they talk, lollygag, talk. Stop talking and do something. There's enough talking done. The reason they do something like that, the reason they put up a thing, you whoop your own kid, because they want them to come up in the street and be bad so they can kill them.
Where they can kill them,
So they can kill them.
Run them down.
They don't see it. These people don't see it.
Run them down like cowards.
Yeah, they invented that stuff to stop you whooping your kid so he can be a bad kid so he can kill him.
Boy, they give him a chance to kill him.
Yeah, that's what it is.
They saying God was trust, but they don't believe. They
don't see that. They don't see you raising your son. They tell you can't whoop your son. So he can grow up in the street and be a bad boy so he can kill him.
And then they give him a chance to kill him.
Yeah.
Shoot him down.
You helping him block your son's view. Don't block your son's view, man. I tell Christians all the time, I talk to Christians. I love y'all, but don't tell me I can't pick up my pistol. Don't you tell me, boy, listen. When you look and say, look what Martin Luther King did. March hand in hand. You killed him.
Kill
Malcolm X say, by all means necessary. You killed him. So what you got in plan for me?